Good morning. How are you today? Well, those of you who got sweaters and mufflers and new socks, you can wear it out in this cold weather today. uh, well, talking about those who are warmer, we have the Grinch down in Mar-a-Lago, and yesterday he said that this bill wasn't any good, which is the stimulus bill to help Americans during the pandemic, among other things. And so perhaps the next administration will have to deal with it. And perhaps that'll be me, he said. Now, there are two possible interpretations of that crazy thought, defying all the facts. And it is that sort of like he's King Lear after Lear found that the two daughters that he thought were his favorites, having ignored the one daughter who was loyal to him, he goes mad. He enters madness. So there could be that, and there's an element of that, and we know that he has probably 18 different personality disorders. But what is the part that might explain his behavior, not in an acceptable way, but what he's really doing? And the answer is he's raising money from all these ditto heads out there who think somehow or other the deep state is going to be overcome and he is going to become the president again. And so they're contributing to that. Despite the Electoral College, despite the Supreme Court, despite all the phony cases, despite Cindy Powell's proven false testators, people who are explaining how the election could have been a subject of fraud, all of that. And so they continue to contribute to him, and that's probably all he really cares about. And maybe he's not going to come back from Mar-a-Lago. He's going to stay there through the 25 days remaining when we have inauguration for a real president, for Joe Biden, and a cabinet and new executive orders. But in the meantime, we have to live with the monster down in his cave down at Mar-a-Lago. And you know, the thing about his conduct involving the pandemic is that, well, it's like from the beginning, he's been out to, well, kill Americans by misleading us about the dangers of the pandemic, doing anything about it, and now stalling the kind of aid that would help. Not everything the Democrats want, more than some Republicans want, but still a thing that makes a difference to those who are hurting in this season, if you will, of caring and love and charity and family. So, well, we know he's a monster, but could he be doing this for Russia and his puppet master Putin? What is their deal anyhow? And you know, we will find out in the days, weeks, months, years ahead, including all the conversations that Trump's having now with people, or observations by people of what he's really about. And the thing about the pandemic is that in California, it's so severe that they don't have any emergency beds, I believe, according to the latest report. And you have frontline nurses who are not getting the vaccination, and you have them concerned about, no matter what they do, people defy the protection they're supposed to give to themselves and others by masks and distancing and things like that. So we really have to hunker down during these holidays because there are so many people doing so many stupid things that you could be exposed and harmed by just an infection, or even death if you fall into one of those categories. And we see how far down it reaches in terms of age and comorbidities. So we have to be careful about that. And it's interesting that the virus, and you know, you don't know how much of this is navel contemplating, that is worried that maybe Pelosi is going to have trouble becoming the speaker, not because of disagreement within her own ranks, which I think is partly legitimate, because there are things that we could do and we're not doing. We're not talking about the kinds of stuff that push back a Trump, like impeachment again or censure. We're not talking about power of the purse. We're not on the airwaves talking about how one coerces a person like this to do the right thing instead of just wringing our hands and complaining about it. But the way that is Pelosi, may have trouble becoming the speaker is that people have to vote on the floor of the House. And so if not enough Democrats show up for any reason, it could favor the Republicans, even a Republican speaker, just by default, by the failure to satisfy the requirements. Now, I think they'll find a way to get there. And some might say, well, they are getting the vaccine. Yes, but remember, you get 2 shots for, I think, the vaccine the people on the Hill were getting. And the second one is 21 or 28 days after the first one. And the protection is marginal between the first and the second shot. So in other words, it's not fast enough for the January 3rd vote for speaker. So we'll see how that works out. I suspect they'll figure it out, and people will be there wearing hazmat suits if necessary in order to have that vote. So that's a logistical problem. So is it clear sailing till January 20th? Yes, I believe so. And that's what we have to celebrate this season. Among the criminals and ambitious and self-centered and selfless and stupid and ignorant people, Americans en masse have figured out a way to restore the republic, and that's us. And, life is messy anyhow, and at the political level, it seems messier. It's like we have our own version of The Crown, or Designated Survivor, or one of these serial shows that people are binging on because of everything else that's going wrong. And in the end, and better than one of these serials, we're going to come out on top. But it's not going to be easy, and there's going to be a lot of work ahead of us. So snuggle up to those sweaters you got and those mufflers and socks and get out and breathe the air. And I'll talk to you again tomorrow. Bye-bye.